All right, Bobby, you're our intro guy.
Today is a special day, and today is a podcast about that special day. I'm Bobby Parker.
And I'm Joey Nickel.
Welcome to Today Is.
All right. Great. That was good. That we're getting better. That was very
the
succinct.
smoothest intro from start to finish that we've had.
Well, after I put my hat on.
Well, I think overall.
Welcome to the show. Let's talk about some things. I had an awesome weekend. I did a whole weekend of shows at a club that I haven't been to.
Oh, okay.
It was really fun. It was in Isla Morada.
Isla Morada. That sounds fancy.
It is the Keys, the Florida Keys.
Yeah.
So if you consider the Florida Keys fancy, then yes.
Based on the last rendition of the movie Roadhouse, yes, I find the Keys fancy.
Does Roadhouse happen? Is that in the Keys?
The latest one happens.
Yeah, because the original was not. Right?
No,
the Patrick Swayze one was not. In
Patrick
the Keys.
Swayze one was not. And actually, I'm making jest. It's Roadhouse, but yeah, I think the Keys are phenomenal.
Yeah. The Keys are awesome. I love the Keys. I was in Key West a couple weeks ago, and then I was in Isla Morada this past weekend. Isla Morada, something I brought up on stage, if you type it into your phone, it tries to auto-suggest Islamophobia if you type in Isla Morada in your phone, just so you know.
I'm glad I have an excuse to type in Islamophobia.
But it's Isla Morada is spelled Islam or Ada. That's how it's spelled. The word Islam is right in there.
Okay.
So if you try to start typing it, it's gonna act like you're trying to type in Islamophobia.
Right.
But it is not. Is Isla Morada? It is kind of. It's not in the middle exactly of the Keys. It's like. Marathon's probably the closest to the middle, so it's probably about another 40 minutes down to Marathon. But it's after Key Largo, so it's well into the Keys. My favorite thing about the Keys, the water's amazing. I love the water. But my favorite thing about the Keys is everywhere the food is good.
Yes.
Everywhere. Every restaurant you go to, every taco stand, every hot dog, it's all good. It's all delicious food.
I remember enjoying many a conch fritter and conch chowder.
Conch chowder is very good. I went to this club called the Green Turtle Inn, or the Green Turtle Comedy Club is the name of the club.
All right.
The Green Turtle Inn used to be an inn, used to be like a restaurant and hotel type of place. I wouldn't say hotel's a strong word. They were more like bungalows you stay in, right. That's how the Keys are a lot of that kind of stuff. There's not a lot of big hotels in this part of the Keys. There are some. Key Largo has some big hotels, but like it's mostly beach houses and condos and stuff like that. And this is no longer a hotel. It is all of the staff just lives there.
Oh,
on the property, which is great. So they provide housing for their staff, and then they just stay there and work out. It is now basically 3 restaurants. It's like there's the Green Turtle, which is a kind of a sit down, a little bit nice, fancy restaurant.
right.
Then there's the Nest, which is a sports bar, and then there's a barbecue stand, like a barbecue food truck,
Okay.
with a giant like custom made smoker out front. And so you can, if you're a patron, you can stop by either 3 of those businesses, and they kind of work together. But then the sports bar, they serve alcohol and stuff like that, but then they serve the barbecue as their food at the sports bar, and it is phenomenal. The food was it was worth it. I got paid pretty well for the weekend. It was a pretty good haul. I was able to sell a lot of merch and stuff like that. I was able to make a good thing there, and they put us up in one of the bungalows.
Oh, that's nice.
So I got free housing and free breakfast and dinner every day I was there. And it was the food, I tell you, the food was so good. The first day I ordered something I thought was small,
right.
because I wanted to go eat lunch somewhere else. I wanted to go explore and eat lunch, and I was like, I'll just order something small for breakfast, because we got there Thursday night, and
right.
the first show was Friday. I did a show in Pompano Beach, then drove down about 2 hours to stay there Thursday night. Friday morning, we get up, have free breakfast at the restaurant. I order bacon and eggs.
Bacon and eggs, yeah.
That's all. It's just bacon and eggs. That's what I order.
Yeah.
And then she goes, well, what kind of toast do you want? I said, just white toast is good. And then it came out, and it was bacon and eggs and potatoes.
Okay.
And the toast was, I don't know where, like they must have made this toast. They must have made the bread themselves. It was the bread was so good. It was like thick and it was so good. And then the potatoes.
Bless you.
Oh, sorry. The breakfast potatoes were like sautéed with onions and peppers, and they were delicious. The eggs, it was like I just got them scrambled with cheese, but they were huge, like huge amount of eggs. The bacon was like a pile of bacon, and the bacon was smoked in the smoker. So I was like, well, I'm not eating. I'm not going anywhere for lunch now.
I am definitely going to get the booking agent info from you, because I love breakfast food. Breakfast food is my favorite thing.
That was breakfast day. So I got 3 breakfasts while I was there. That was breakfast day number 1. Breakfast day number 2, I got biscuits and gravy. Like the best, everything I had there was like the best of that thing that I've ever had. It was so good. The biscuits and gravy were phenomenal. We split, us 3 comics, we split a sticky bun.
Okay.
When I say we split a sticky bun, it was so big that each person, when we split it into thirds, it was the size of a normal sticky bun.
Oh, man.
And it was so good. And then, and I got the biscuits and gravy and a side of eggs. And when I got the biscuits and gravy, again, I'm thinking it's going to be like a biscuit with some gravy. So then I ordered the side of eggs. Well, the biscuits, it was 2 biscuits, 2 giant biscuits. So then they're cut in half, tons of sausage gravy. It was so good. And then the third day, this is the day we're leaving, or they had already left because they left the night before because he had an early flight.
Right.
So I'm eating breakfast alone, and I asked the bartender, I sat at the bar instead of taking up a table, and I said, what's your favorite thing on the menu for breakfast? She said the shrimp and grits.
Oh, shrimp and grits.
And they did not disappoint. She was correct. They were the best thing on the menu. They were the best thing on the They might have been the best thing. They were probably close to the best thing I ate all weekend was the shrimp and grits for breakfast on my way out.
Wow.
They were so good.
I don't eat much anymore. But what I do eat, I do like to have a good bite or two. So like I'm all about like, hey, if I'm gonna have a breakfast food and I can have like 1 or 2 bites, yes, I've spent an hour making the perfect bite for
yeah. I mean, you could get some of that bacon. You could probably eat like a strip of bacon.
Yeah,
and that'd be it. Was so good.
Yeah,
that food was so good. That's just the breakfasts. Then they fed us dinner every night, which I didn't even eat lunch because I was so full from the breakfast. I just ate breakfast and dinner every day.
That's wonderful.
And the dinner was I ended up getting brisket both nights because the brisket was so good. And then cornbread. The cornbread was amazing. Although I made a mistake. I usually don't eat before shows.
Right.
You usually don't eat before or after shows anymore.
Yeah.
I usually don't eat at all.
Yeah.
Did you eat before when you were eating? Did you eat before shows at all?
I needed at least an hour and a half.
Yeah,
and
right.
If it was.
I used to, by the way. And when other comics would say I don't eat before shows, I thought they were crazy. Like I was like, "What are you, an idiot?" And I thought it was like a nervous thing. Like you don't want to upset your stomach and be nervous. I was like, I don't get nervous before a show. I get adrenaline during a show, but I don't really get nervous at a show unless it's like.
Hey, there's anticipation.
Yes,
there's
right.
butterflies,
yes,
but not nerves.
Exactly. There's not. I don't think I have nerves anymore. I don't think I've had nerves. Probably from about the time I was about 2 years in. I don't think or maybe 3. I don't think I really get nerves even at a new location and a new crowd. But so I thought that's what it was when people said they don't eat before a show. And so I always ate before shows. I never had a problem. And then one day I ate right before a show, and I got the hiccup acid reflux thing.
Right.
And then that was it. From then on, I couldn't eat before shows. Like, it would happen every time. And so it's not so much a nerves thing as much as like, well, I don't want to like accidentally burp or something like that. Or like, there's so many things. Maybe it's because I do more time on stage than I used to. That probably is it.
That's it. That and a lot of times, up until recently, the way I was eating, I would eat a lot and then feel sluggish.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if you eat a lot. But like, yeah, I don't really eat before a show. I'll give it an hour and a half before a show. Now, if I don't eat at all, like all day, that's not good either.
Right.
Like,
yeah. Grab a quick snack.
I'll be lightheaded if I don't eat all day. But like, yeah, maybe an hour and a half, maybe before I leave my house at the latest, I'll grab a snack. I'll grab a banana or something. Yeah. Something I know is not going to cause any problems. But yeah, but I know after the show.
Oh, yeah.
After the show. But so I made the cardinal mistake of eating. So the food came right before I went on stage, which was real tough.
Yes.
So I'm about to go on stage, and I ordered it right before I went on stage because I was like, I'll eat it right when I get off. So I want to eat as soon as I get off stage.
Right.
And I ordered it, and then it came quicker than I anticipated. And it's sitting there, and it looks so good. I'm like, all right, I can't eat any. First of all, the first night I got beans, brisket, pulled pork, mac and cheese, and cornbread. None of that would be good before a show.
Right, yeah. No.
So, but I couldn't resist, and I grabbed like a couple bites of the cornbread. Best cornbread I've ever. I mean, I should have gotten like an order of cornbread to go, just like a pallet of cornbread to go, because it was so good. I don't know if it would have lasted the drive home, but it was so good.
Good cornbread is amazing.
It was so good. And then, so I ate that bite of cornbread, and then on stage, like a little it like dried my mouth out, and then a little piece of cornbread like came up as I was saying a joke, completely stopped all sound from coming from my mouth. Right in the middle of a punchline, like right in the middle of an early punchline. Now, luckily, they thought it was luckily I addressed it. I was able to make it funny, and it worked out. And it ended up being a good show. But I was like, well, I shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have made that mistake. But the food was so good. The shows were great. First show was sold out. Second show was close. It was I would say we're maybe like 10 or 15 away from sellout.
Okay.
And then the third show was a little light. Third show we probably had like 20, 25 people, but it was good. Really good crowd. I recorded most of my sets, so I hopefully the sounds good.
Yeah.
But yeah, great lineup. Green Turtle Comedy Club, really good. Nick Masick is the booker of that. He hosts it every time. It's a once a month comedy club.
Okay.
Every last weekend of the month. So yeah, Nick Masick, great guy, great host, books that show. But yeah, that was my weekend. Amazing weekend. How was your week?
My week was not that good. It wasn't bad per se, but I did not have the best food of everything I've ever had, and good shows. I did do a show downtown at the Bay Street Grill here in Jacksonville.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
There was a good crowd.
Okay. And this was a show, not an open mic?
It was a show.
Okay. I think they're doing an open mic there too now.
Yes, they're doing a mic there, I think, on Wednesdays.
Okay.
Up against the Best of Jacks. But that's great because if you're not in Best of Jacks, you can be there and then come back to
Comedy Zone for the open mic because the open mic's late. Yeah.
So
all right.
So yeah, I mean it works. So yeah, but it was good. The issue that I had with it is most of the crowd was there for one person, which is awesome.
Which is great. That helps out a lot sometimes.
Yeah, wonderful. But that person went on early, and a lot of the crowd left with them.
Oh yeah, that's not good.
Which I love the support, but it was a full packed place going down to like 2 tables that were paying attention and a lot of bar noise.
Yeah.
So like everyone had a great time. I was fighting a migraine towards the
that's not good.
Towards the end of it. Yeah, it's just I didn't have enough water that day and whatever. But it's just like the crowd's gone. I'm fighting the noise. I'm fighting this. It was a well-run show. Everything was good. I just wish they would have stayed to. Hopefully I would have made their night better. Yeah. Oh well.
Was that your only show this week?
That was my only show this week. We'll get to the upcoming shows soon. I guess. Yeah.
Well, I had a fun weekend. So that was good.
Absolutely.
When did we when did we record? I'm trying to think if I did anything. I don't think I did anything else since then.
No.
I am on the lookout for another venue for my Fleming Island show, since Barley and Pie is closing down. I think I said that on the last podcast.
Yep.
Barley and Pie is closing their doors. Saturday will be their last days. Today, April 5th, will be the last day of Barley and Pie's being open. So stop by, have a pizza, or have some a tater tots or something. They have such good food, so it's a shame.
I wish them the best. They were amazing. People had great food.
Great food, great, really supportive of the show. So it's really a shame to lose that show. I'm hoping to find something else on Fleming Island to kind of transfer the following that we built up there. We'll see. I'm in talks with some places, so hopefully we can get land somewhere.
I've been kind of on the lookout as well, because I like having rooms, man.
Yeah, I know.
It's good. That almost took us into depression.
I know. I know. We gotta pick it up a little bit. Well,
ouch.
All right. Well, I will say I am excited because I do have a New York trip coming up.
Oh, very nice.
I'll be going to New York in 2 weeks.
Okay.
I want to say we leave on like the 17th, I think. So yeah, like 2 weeks from now, and we leave on a Wednesday, I think, 16th or 17th. And we're trying to decide what we want to do. Have you been to New York?
I have been to New York, not to do comedy though.
Yeah, I'm trying to get. So this is a family trip,
right?
But I'm trying to get me. I want to do a couple shows, but I also don't want to miss out on family time. I'll probably do a couple shows while I'm up there. I've got some contacts to look into, but we can't decide like what shows we want to go to as a family. Like if we want to try to go to a Broadway show, or if we want to go to I would like to go to Saturday Night Live. Which it's not. I mean, it kind of is hard to get tickets, but not exactly. You just have to be lucky. Like you just gotta be lucky to get tickets. So, but I don't know who's hosting yet, because I looked at the schedule. Maybe they could be off that weekend. They don't do every weekend,
right?
So they could be off that weekend, but there's no host listed for that date that will be there. Now we're gonna miss Jack Black hosting by like a week or something like that, which I'm kind of disappointed that we couldn't be there. Because that would have been fun to watch Jack Black host.
That would have been amazing. He is one of the celebrities out there who I think, man, had he had an audition early on.
Oh yeah, he would have been a cast member probably.
Yes.
Although I will say this about Jack Black, he was so good at doing his own thing for so long that the industry kind of just shaped around him. Like he didn't conform to anybody. Like that's one of the reasons everybody likes him so much, and that he seems to continue to be a good guy and a genuine guy.
Right.
Is he kind of did his own thing when he came onto the scene, and he never. I don't know. He always. It's like you hired Jack Black to be Jack Black. Like that's
well early on he did have like roles, like background parts.
Sure, yeah. He had minor roles.
And that's the point where it's like if he had gotten a chance then.
At that point.
Yeah, before.
But even then, though, even when he was doing those minor roles, he had the band. He had Tenacious D with Kyle Gass, and it's like he was already doing his own live thing and being an artist and stuff like that. Like, I feel like he had a fulfilling art prior to his acting career.
But I think that's actually one of the brilliant things about Lorne Michael over the long course. He is willing to go out and find that. Like he offered Johnny Knoxville.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he offered Johnny Knoxville, and Johnny Knoxville said, "No, I would rather do my own show
Right.
instead of joining Saturday Night Live, which was a huge risk."
Yeah.
And he offered like Sandler, and he's like, "I don't understand what you're doing, but people like it," and that's
He was always good at that.
Yeah.
And like Andy Samberg, like they had the Lonely Island guys,
Yes.
like they were already their own thing.
Yes.
And he actually is. Lorne Michaels is likes to do that sometimes, where he'll pick, bring in a bunch of guys that are already doing their own thing, and then he's like, "Well, just do it here." And that's what he's doing with the
Please Don't Destroy.
The Please Don't Destroy guys. They already were doing their own thing. It's like, well, let's just bring them here to do their own thing, which is shows such foresight and that he's able to evolve and everything like that. I would say it wasn't until like maybe 20 years ago that he would have even considered doing something like that. Like usually he wouldn't hire somebody that already had their own thing. He wanted to break people. It was like he wanted to get them early.
Right.
Maybe more than 20 years ago, but like I just remember like the Saturday Night Live from when I was in high school and stuff. Though they had now the internet wasn't around. It wasn't, so people weren't like able to create their own fan base on their own with the internet kind of thing. But it's just I feel like it was more of a Saturday Night Live is where you go to break in. It's always the new guys, and now I don't think that's always the case.
Well, they have brought in older cast members, what is it, Chris? Chris Elliott. He was a cast member in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, after he was his own thing. After he had movies.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a terrible choice bringing him on.
Well, there was
he didn't fit in.
There has been several of those, like Robert Downey Jr.
Right.
What's her name? Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Right.
She was like they were all like one seasoners, where it was like, all right, this was not a good idea.
Like there's so much talent, it's just not right for here.
Yes, exactly. Like obviously they're immensely talented actors, but it's like, that was. Or Ben Stiller, he was on for like one season or something,
like 6 episodes.
It wasn't. Probably wasn't even a full season, but it was like. There are people that it's like, well, obviously they ended up being, insanely talented actors.
Yeah,
but
there's something there. It's just not for this.
Just not for Saturday Night Live.
Right. And actually the Chris Elliott thing, like I did not mean that to any way sound like I'm dissing Chris Elliott. It's just it
didn't work out for him.
It didn't. He's a brilliant writer, as a matter of fact. Like he wrote for Letterman, I believe, for years.
All right. Well, let's go into our topic today. What are we at? We're at 22 minutes. So I got to remember that when I'm editing. All right. We're going to go into our topic today. Today is April 5th. It is Star Trek First Contact Day. Now, you could probably guess that it was going to be a Star Trek topic based on what I'm wearing. I thought you would wear your Star Trek shirt.
I don't have a Star Trek shirt.
You don't have a Star Trek shirt?
I don't have a Star Trek shirt. I
could have sworn you had a Star Trek shirt.
I have a couple Star Wars shirts, and this one is often mistaken for it.
Yeah,
but
well, if we were in the original series, you would have been dead by now. 20 minutes into the show, you would have been dead.
Yes.
Now, Star Trek First Contact Day is the fictional date. Well, the date is real, but it's the fictional time that Earth made contact for the first time with an alien species.
Yes.
And it comes from the movie First Contact.
Yes.
Which is a Next Generation movie, which, in my opinion, hands down, the best Star Trek movie. I don't know how you feel about it, but in my opinion, the best Star Trek movie is Star Trek First Contact out of all of them.
That's a good movie. I'm gonna be partial to the reboot.
Oh, you like the reboot?
With Chris Pine. Loved it.
The first Star Trek reboot?
Yes.
You think that's the best out of all the Star Trek movies?
The older ones were campy.
I mean, I like it. I really like the reboot, and I felt like they did the characters justice and they took them seriously, and the casting was great.
Yes.
You know what's funny is I actually think Chris Pine was the best casting of all of the recasts. I think he was the most. He looked and acted the most like Captain Kirk from the original series.
Right.
Not necessarily from the movies. Captain Kirk from the movies was a little different, a little older, obviously a little wiser, a little more mellow. But like the Captain Kirk from the original series, little cowboyish, little, you know.
Right. The Bones.
Bones was good. I liked him a lot. He was great.
That was great casting.
That was great casting. But I do think that, and you know, and they cast what's his name to be Spock, which he was great. He was a great Spock. But I just feel like Chris Pine was the best of that. Like he was like perfect. He had the look. He had the attitude. He had that little bit of rebellious feel. Like I think he pulled it off really well.
And I also want to say, like, I haven't seen a lot of the I haven't seen any of the Star Trek movies since they first came out.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
like I'm going off of memory. There's definitely a recency bias here.
Yeah,
Because
for sure.
It's a good movie. I've seen it several times since it came out.
I like First Contact because first of all, the Borg were like my favorite villains in Next Generation. I really was fascinated by them, and they always would show up. Like they were one of those ones that they'd go away for a while and then they'd show up, and they were always this imminent threat.
Yes,
and so it was such a cool, like to be a part, to have them in it and be the main villains of this movie was great, and they did the Borg so well. And which honestly, I'm a big zombie fan, and the Borg are kind of space zombies.
That's what I was actually about to say.
Yeah, like there's definitely a space zombie element to it, especially with First Contact. Like that's a big deal. Spoiler alert for this 30-year-old movie. They do infiltrate the ship, and then it turns into this. There's a part of the movie that feels like a zombie movie. You know, they're trying to escape the Borg and stuff like that. Anyway, I really like First Contact. Jonathan Frakes, who played Commander Riker, wrote and directed it.
I did not really. I knew he was a writer and director. I didn't know he did that one.
Yeah, he did that one. Okay. It was great. All of the stuff he does is very good. I really like Jonathan Frakes. He's probably contributed. Of anybody living right now, he's probably contributed to the Star Trek universe the most.
Ooh, okay.
I would say, in my opinion, Jonathan Frakes, because he was Riker, obviously, which is a big deal. But he has written and directed so many. He wrote and directed, I want to say, at least 2 movies, maybe 3, and then he has written and directed so many episodes of Star Trek. He wrote some books. Like he's contributed so much. Like I don't think Star Trek would still be around as strong as it is right now if he weren't around.
Right.
Like he's done so much to keep it relevant and stuff like that. So
I'm going to be honest. I did not know that.
He's done so much behind the scenes and like Picard, he like wrote and directed like all the. I don't know if he wrote every episode, but he directed most of those episodes of the Picard show. Which was the the sequel, which was the update Picard. I don't know if you've seen any of the new stuff, but
I have not. I'm going to go on a brief tangent here.
Okay.
So my introduction to the podcasting world long time ago with a podcast that was called Stupid Nerd.
Okay.
Right. And the host of it, a guy named Arnie Camp, who is he's like the creative director of Jackbox Games. If you know those games, PlayStation, it's like party pack stuff. He's a great guy, always big in the improv world, So that's how I learned about it. And the podcast was, he's a nerd, but he doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
And somebody comes on and tells him all the stuff he should know about things every week. That's what this podcast almost feels like to me. Like, I know enough to be considered a nerd. I don't know any of this stuff.
Oh, I'm deep in it.
It's fascinating.
I'm deep in it.
I'm enjoying it.
So what's funny about this, what's funny about Star Trek is I was a huge fan when I was like I'm going to say like junior high.
Okay.
Like I wasn't like huge. I probably fell away from Star Trek in high school because I was trying to be cool.
Right.
But like 6th, 7th, 8th grade, huge. I mean, I watched all of the Next Generation. I watched the movie. That's when the movies were at the height.
Okay.
Like that's when First Contact came out. Was like 8th grade, I want to say, when I
Okay.
was in 8th grade. So like that was a huge part of that time in my life. Then I kind of never really went back to it, like as far as like actively seeking out content and watching the movies. But I'd watched so much. I'd watched a lot of Deep Space Nine. I hadn't really watched any of Voyager or anything past that.
Okay.
Then the pandemic came, and I'm home all day, every day, and my wife has not seen any Star Trek. Oh, we did go see, when we were dating, we did go see the reboot movies in the theater.
Okay.
And she liked them. And I liked them. She didn't know any of the history.
My wife did not know the history, and that's actually probably why I like it, because I got to experience it with her.
So, and they did a good job of creating something that was, well, I mean, technically they weren't reboots.
Yeah, right.
Technically, it was just alternate reality. Like the original Spock is in them. Like they have the bridge of the the time travel and the alternate reality type of thing. But so I enjoyed that part of it. My wife enjoyed the movie as it is. Chris Hemsworth plays his dad in it, which I forgot about until later,
right.
Because he wasn't Thor yet.
Yep.
And so there's all that. They were such a well-made movie that then when the pandemic came, I was like, hey, let's watch Star Trek. You haven't even seen any of the show. So then we started watching Next Generation. And then she was like, wait a minute. Well, should we watch original series to get the backstory to some of this? So we watched, I want to say 60% of original series.
Okay.
Not meaning we didn't like stop at 60%.
Right.
I kind of did some research and was like, which ones are we are there some we can skip?
Yeah.
It gets a little rough, original series sometimes. It gets a little cheesy, but there were some good episodes.
Oh yeah,
so
absolutely.
I would say 60% of them are still great episodes. It was great to have the base of watching the original series. Then I was like, well, instead of going right back into Next Generation, let's watch the movies now. So we watched all 6 original series movies.
Okay.
And then watched the Next Generation.
Okay.
Then watched the Next Generation movies.
Okay.
Then watched Voyager. No. Then we watched Deep Space Nine.
Okay.
Then we watched Voyager. Then we watched Enterprise. Then we watched Discovery. We watched Picard before that because we watched it right after. We watched the Next Generation stuff all in a row.
Okay.
We hadn't watched Voyager yet. So we watched Picard the first season. That was all that was out. Then we went back and watched Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Discovery. Then Lower Decks came. Have you watched any of Lower Decks?
Lower Decks is my connection to the Star Wars, to the
Star Trek.
Star Trek universe.
You almost got shot in the head just now.
Yeah, Star Trek.
Not from me.
Universe.
Just some random sniper was about to shoot you in the head just for saying that.
Yeah, but that is my connection to the Star
Lower
Trek
Decks
universe right
is
now.
so good. It plays so much good, and I know that like some people get annoyed when it's all fan service,
right?
But they do it so well, and the story is very good in Lower Decks.
It is. It's good stories, and
it's all every episode's full of callbacks from the other stuff, but it's so good. It's such a well-made show,
and as a huge plus, it has Eugene Cordero.
Which one's Eugene Cordero?
Rutherford.
Oh yeah,
yes.
Yeah, he's great. I like him a lot.
He's
good.
He's in everything he's in is awesome.
Yeah, he's really good. So that Lower Decks is great. It really, if you're a Star Trek fan, if you have knowledge and good of Star Trek and you're a Star Trek fan, that's such a good show. I'd recommend that for sure. Yes. Lower Decks. Oh, we also watched Prodigy, which is a kids show. That was really good. My kids loved that show. That's their only introduction to Star Trek, really.
I don't know Prodigy.
Yeah, it's another cartoon.
Okay.
It's an animated show. It was like maybe 2 seasons.
Okay.
I want to say it was on Nickelodeon.
I'll have to.
Yeah. Did you watch Voyager? Did you watch Star Trek Voyager?
I did not watch Voyager, but one of the stupid nerd episodes was about Voyager.
I really like Voyager.
I know a lot about it.
Yeah. I really like Voyager, and Star Trek Prodigy has a lot of Voyager in it because Janeway, the captain, is a character in this. And she voices the character, the actor who played her in the show.
Right.
And she's a hologram of herself as well as the real Janeway is a huge character. She's a main character in this show.
Right.
So so there's a lot of Voyager references, and she talks about there's things with her former crew and stuff like that. When I was a kid, when I was like 7th, 8th grade, like Voyager kind of got a bad rap because people were like, well, it's not Next Generation. You know,
Right.
it's not Picard.
It's different.
It's different, and it's like, so it didn't get the popularity. Now, I think it still went for like 7 seasons, so it was still obviously successful, but it just, I never really invested a lot of time in it. Well, it turns out it's great. I love it. It's a fresh take on the Star Trek archetype, which is, you know,
the
captain in a ship exploring. You
right,
know, it's
like the baddie of the week.
Yeah, exactly. Week to week, you got the alien of the week, and you get the trouble of the week. One time, I said I tweeted like, and I said this is my description of every Next Generation episode. The ship / crew get into some kind of trouble that they've never seen before, and Data saves all their lives at risk to him.
Yeah,
Like that's like every episode of Star Trek. And I tweeted that and tagged Brent Spiner in it, who played Data, and he liked it. He liked the tweet. So
that's always a plus.
And I think he retweeted it too. But I was like, after watching 7 seasons in a row, I'm like, Data just saves everybody every time. Like they just lean on him every time. But that's fine. I like Data a lot. He's the one of the core, you know, one of the core Star Trek guys.
Yes, he is one of my favorite characters.
So let's talk. Let's do some thought experiments.
Okay.
Well, I don't know how many captains you have encountered.
So I was smart enough to research it.
Okay.
So I had the list of all of them.
We did. I sent him a questionnaire ahead of time so that we could have something to talk about. And the first question I sent was favorite Star Trek captain. So what do you think?
So my favorite one is Picard.
Yeah. I think that's going to be most people's favorite one.
Right. And as much as
most people our age at least.
Right. As much as I enjoy the roguish nature of Kirk, or I watched Enterprise. I enjoyed Archer.
I liked Archer a lot, actually.
Yeah,
I liked him a lot.
Yeah, I enjoyed.
I do think he was trying to do a William Shatner impersonation sometimes. Have you ever noticed that?
Yes.
Like he'd do the pausing sometimes when he was talking to somebody from the bridge. Whenever he was talking from the bridge to another ship, it was like, are you doing a Shatner impersonation right now? Like I would not be surprised if he watched some game footage on William Shatner before that role.
I'm sure he did. And
but I did like him a lot. I did like Archer.
The one thing about that show though, Enterprise, so they changed format like every season, and it's like they hurt the show.
They did, and honestly that ended up being the downfall. Why it was only 4 seasons instead of 7 like the others. Mm-hmm. They kind of every season was like a completely different show.
Right.
And I guess they were trying to figure out their footing and figure out what people wanted.
Right. And hey, things happen.
Yeah.
It
was still a good show, but yeah, you're right. It was I didn't like that they kind of changed every season. Right. You had to like get used to the new format every season. Now, has to take the cake for dumbest theme song of all of the Star Trek shows.
I did not.
Do you remember it?
It
wasn't the ding, ding, ding. It wasn't like the space, the final frontier.
Right. It was like a symphony.
It was no.
It wasn't.
The theme song to Enterprise.
Okay.
Was a pop song. It was. It's been a long road.
Oh my God!
And so it was so
about
stupid. Every time it came on, it was so annoying. And so here's the thing that made it even more annoying: is there's always like a little pre credits little minute where they set up the episode, right? And then it goes into the theme song, right? Well, half the time somebody would be in danger in those first few minutes. Like somebody's dying and they're like, I'm dying, do something about it. And then it's been a long run. And it was so stupid.
I had completely forgotten
in fact,
about that.
If they had not done that for the theme song, it may have lasted at least another season.
I completely blanked on that. But yes, I remember that being just
it's the only one. The only one that had a theme song like that. All the others were orchestral renditions and very good. I liked them a lot. I liked all of the theme songs very well. I wouldn't even be able to tell you which one was my favorite necessarily. I loved them all. The original series one is very 60s.
Yeah.
And it's got the ooh. It's a little much, but the others are all great. Very very good pieces. But yeah, I'd probably agree. Picard's my favorite. I read the autobiography of William Shatner when I was in 8th grade.
Okay.
Not the autobiography. It was specifically his. It was actually it picks up when the show gets canceled. He doesn't even talk about that first. He doesn't talk about the show. It picks up when the show gets canceled, and then it ends with the last movie. So it's specifically about him filming the movies, the Star Trek movies.
Okay.
And I think it's called like Star Trek Movie Memories or something like that. I really liked it. I liked it a lot. But he said when Picard came out, and that was becoming a thing, obviously everybody was comparing Kirk and Picard.
Right.
And he said that he was told the biggest difference between Kirk and Picard, it was Kirk would, if he's in a tense situation and he has a gun on somebody, he'd say, all right, I'm going to shoot you in the count of 3. 1, 2, shoot. That was Picard.
Right.
Or that was Kirk. If Picard is in a situation, he would say, okay, I'm going to shoot you. No, really, I'm going to do it. I'm going to shoot you. And then he would try to talk his way out of the situation, which I think William Shatner took that as Kirk is better than Picard. But anybody who's a fan of The Next Generation knows it's the other way around. Picard was a better captain because he wouldn't shoot on 2. You know what I mean? That was the whole point of making him like that. They turned Picard into the level-headed one because, honestly, the captain of the ship shouldn't be the hothead.
Right.
There's no way the hothead's going to end up being the captain. That's crazy.
Yes, I agree. I think that's why the what I'm referring to is the reboot kind of explained it. We kind of have to.
The reboot kind of made that okay because it's it kind of wasn't supposed to be like that. They never intended him to be the captain, and it kind of worked out. And he's still, breaking the rules and everything like that. Whereas Picard, when he would break the rules, it was very calculated. Right. It was I'm doing this because I have to, and I'm going to save lives by doing it. And he was very calculated. And then Riker was the cowboy. Yep. Riker was the guy that could go out and get things done in the field, and he was the gun. He was the ladies' man and the cowboy.
Right. Well, but now I've got to think, was Picard like that when he was the executive officer?
Right. That's true. He could.
And that's
so. And he tells stories about that when he was on the Stargazer. Or maybe that was his first ship. I can't remember whenever he was first officer. Yes, he could have been a little hot-headed when he was a first officer.
So maybe they're taking the Kirk mold. This is successful. Let's kind of organize it a bit.
Yeah, and I think they definitely stuck to some archetypes. They obviously swapped Spock and Kirk so that Riker is the Kirk and Picard's the Spock. The more logical, more level-headed one. But then they also have Data, who is also the Spock,
right?
Who is the unemotional, interesting, not alien, but android instead of an alien kind of thing.
The person, the point of view that can comment on human behavior.
Yes, exactly, which is what Spock was, obviously. Yes. And then he's the guy to do that in The Next Generation. So they all follow their archetypes. Thankfully, they treated women a little better in The Next Generation than they did in the original series. So anyway, let's move on with the questionnaire. Okay, I'm running a little short on time, so we're going to keep moving on in the questionnaire.
Sounds good.
So I would say, Picard's my favorite. I said favorite ship, but
yeah,
I don't know. Did you have an answer for that?
Cerritos. USS.
Oh yeah, the Cerritos or Cerritos. Yeah, that's
Cerritos. Yeah,
it's really
from Lower Decks.
From Lower Decks.
That's my speed.
So I've been collecting displays or models of all of the ships, and I cannot find a Cerritos anywhere. Okay. But it is kind of funny that they're the California class, and all of the ships that look like that are named after places in California.
Nice.
There's the USS San Diego and stuff like that. It's
I did not.
Yeah, that's why they're called a California class.
Okay.
All right. What job or rank would you want on a starship?
Oh, I think my shirt kind of tells you where I would be.
Depends on which series.
Which would probably dead, but
Yeah.
here job or rank would I want? I would probably end up in communications.
Communications, yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I don't know.
If we're talking fantasy, now if we're talking me right now,
Right.
like probably like communications or maybe even a cook or something like that.
Right,
Like
yeah.
the skill set I have currently. But
Not replicators.
yes, right.
And I'm still the cook.
I'm a bartender, like in 10 forward. But so with the skill set I have now, maybe communication or something like that. But if this is fantasy and I'm picking a department, security and tactical.
Okay.
Like I would want to be like Worf. I want to be like head of security and head of tactical and stuff like that.
I'd probably choose pilot in that.
Yeah, pilot's fun. That one I've thought about that one, but I like the idea of being in charge of a department that like honestly a department that like kicks butt. It's like because I don't want to be a captain. I feel like I don't want that responsibility.
True.
I don't want to be in command. I don't want to be a captain or a first officer. I would like to be like head of a department. I'm not smart enough to be an engineer. Maybe communications, but that's bridge crew. That's a little different. But I feel like security gets to do all the fun stuff. Like they get to go on missions. They get to go undercover. They get to like. So they're basically the MPs of the Star Trek world, but in addition to that, they're also tactical. Right. So they get to load the torpedoes, they get to fire the torpedoes and phasers and stuff like that. I'd say security and tactical would be mine.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
Favorite non-Earth planet you'd like to visit?
I had to research it. I didn't know the name, but it is called Risa.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
The vacation planet?
Yes. Yeah, I
had Risa too.
Specifically remembered them talking about it. I'm like, let me look that up.
Yeah. Me too. I was like, well, I think Risa. Risa's going to be my... Yeah, I always think it's funny that like the entire series... Riker is like just goes on about Risa every time. He's like, "We're going to Risa? Are we going to Risa today?
Hey,
like,
let's go.
Can I hit on some women? We going to Risa? Like every time, and their plans would get ruined. But their Risa plans would get ruined.
Man.
Yeah, definitely. That would be my favorite to visit. Although I would like to go to the Klingon homeworld. But I don't know if it'd be fun. I don't know. I might not have a great time there, but it would just be as a fan to like see the Klingon homeworld would be cool. All right, what character do I remind you of?
All right, Phlox.
Oh, the
doctor.
The doctor
right.
on Enterprise.
The
doctor on Enterprise.
And the rationale is because you have a very unique point of view, and usually bring things into conversations other people don't think about.
I'll take that as a compliment. I like Phlox a lot. He was one of my favorite characters on Enterprise.
Absolutely. And I also want to say it has nothing to do with him having multiple wives and you being Mormon.
I didn't think of that. Yeah, he does have multiple wives. That's true.
I thought about that when I was writing it down. I'm like, I've got to say that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, he does have multiple wives. No, Phlox is a good one. I like that answer. Yeah. I would say for you, I would say, do you remember Lieutenant Barclay? And I bring him up, and no. If you go look him up, you might think this is an insult at first because he was when he first was introduced into as a character in Next Generation.
Okay,
he was kind of a joke, but not real. Like people made fun of him, but it was very clear that they had something planned for him. Like it was supposed to start off like that, and then he became the unassuming kind of hero of the show because he ended up being very smart and very good at what he did. And he ends up, spoiler alerts, first of all, he ends up saving the Enterprise like probably 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
And he wasn't like a huge character, but like enough to where the fans know who he is. But he was enough of a character that, he was in First Contact. He was on the ground crew in First Contact and got to meet Zefram Cochrane and help him fix the ship. So that was cool. But also, he not only saved the Enterprise several times when he was there. After that, on Voyager, he ended up saving Voyager.
He saved Voyager. Okay.
So he ended up being a character on that show too, and saved Voyager from Starfleet, like from Earth. Like he worked out a way to save Voyager from Earth.
Does he have a heavy Irish accent?
No.
Okay.
No,
No.
but he's a great character.
Okay.
And that is O'Brien. That's Chief O'Brien.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think that name matches.
Chief O'Brien is big in the Star Trek because he got to be on 2 shows.
Right.
He was not a main character, but a very regular character on Next Generation, and then he was a main character on Deep Space Nine.
Okay.
Maybe. Like probably my favorite day one character is Chief O'Brien on Deep Space Nine.
Okay.
Somebody who was there from the beginning of the series.
Right.
I'd probably say Chief O'Brien's my favorite character.
Nice.
Worf joins the series later on.
Okay.
So I love Worf. He's one of my favorite characters. He's been in he's had more Star Trek airtime than any other actor in
Really?
Star Trek. Yeah, he was in Star Trek Next Generation the whole 7 seasons.
Okay.
Then he was in, I want to say, 5 seasons of Deep Space Nine. And then he was in all of the Next Generation movies.
Okay.
And he was also in one original series movie as a relative, as like an not ancestor's not the right word. Well, yeah, I guess so. Like an ancestor of Worf. He played like a lawyer who was like his great grandfather or whatever, like or something.
Really?
In the original series, like 100 years prior, and. So he has had more. Oh, and he was in Picard, you know. But there were most of them were in Picard. But it's just he's been in 3 separate Star Trek series. He's been in, I want to say 5 or 6. 5. He's been in 5 Star Trek movies, and I think he's had the most airtime of any actor on Star Trek.
I hope they figured that makeup process out.
Oh, I know. Oh, you could tell it was really rough in that first couple of seasons.
Oh, yeah.
It got better, but it was really rough. I think that's part of why he was so good is they made him wear teeth for it, and he still sounded good. Like he still could talk and could work with those teeth. Sometimes those aliens could not work with the teeth.
Yeah.
And they sounded ridiculous. But yeah, I like him. I like Worf a lot. Let's see. What was I? Oh, which character would you want to be best friends with?
I would want to be best friends with Mariner. But
oh yeah, right.
But
yeah.
I would probably be best friends with Boimler.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah, probably me too. I wouldn't want to be best friends with Data.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Data, like, just because he'd be interesting all the time, and I wouldn't have to Google anything. Like,
true.
You just know all the stuff.
True. Yeah.
Let's see. If your ship was invaded by the Borg, what character would you stick with?
Data.
To stay. Okay, now that was my first thought, but however, in the movie, he got captured by the Borg, and they tried to assimilate him. Okay. You remember that?
I remember him fighting the Borg and being.
So Data. Normally, I would say Data is the guy. Like you got to stick with Data in any situation. Like if the Enterprise is being attacked, go hug Data.
Hey,
like,
but I think I'm going to escape while he sacrifices himself.
Yeah, right. There you go.
So
yeah, there you go. That's true. He did do that a lot too.
Yeah.
He did do that a lot too, and so yeah, that's true. So maybe Data is a good choice. I would say Worf, because he's if the ship is being invaded, he has the most tactical, because you can't shoot him. You can shoot him like once, and then they adapt.
Right.
So the only thing that works is melee, and like Worf's the guy. Worf's gonna be the guy with a batleth and killing all the Borgs that he can.
True. Yeah.
Would you rather? And this is our last question. Would you rather have it? Say it's today. So we're not in the future. Now. This is right now this century. Would you rather have a replicator, a holodeck, or faster than light speed?
Absolutely a replicator.
Yeah, I think replicator too.
Because holodeck,
make anything.
Yeah. What can I do with it? Like,
I mean, holodeck would be fun.
It would be amazing.
It would be fun for to play video games and to relive historical events and stuff.
But what are the power constraints?
Right. Yeah, that's true.
And then faster than the light travel today with today's technology.
Faster than light travel doesn't help much if we don't know there's anything out there.
And there's not a whole lot we can do.
Oh,
on,
you know
on
what,
Earth.
though? Let's scratch that. I'm going to
Okay.
scratch that.
Okay.
Not faster than light travel. That's not the answer because it doesn't really, without knowledge of extraterrestrials, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm going to say? Transporters.
I would transporter 100%.
Yeah, I was going to say
100%.
of those three, replicator, holodeck, or transporter. You can go anywhere on Earth in a second.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would absolutely.
Yeah, I would pick
100%,
transporter too. Yeah, I forgot about transporters, but replicators, that would change everything to have a replicator.
I actually have to say, I'm thinking about transporters now. Would the TSA be in charge of them? Would you?
I don't know.
Would you want your molecules to be like at the mercy of TSA?
I don't know. We might need to have a different organization in charge of transporters.
Yeah, and it's
some...
like transporter security agent. It's going to happen again.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, as much as I love the idea of a transporter,
that was one thing I really liked about Picard is they really showed Earth travel with transporters. They depicted that very well. And you don't really see it a lot in the series, in the original, in Next Generation and everything. They don't really show Earth using them, but it's like, yeah, you can go anywhere. Like you can just go. You can just he would like he'd be out in the middle of France, and then he's like, well, I need to go to Starfleet in San Francisco, and then just go, and he was there in a second. Transporter technology. Yeah, that would be number one for me, I think.
Yeah, that would be best.
All right. Well, that is Star Trek First Contact Day. Go hug Zefram Cochrane. Go hug James Cromwell, who played Zefram Cochrane, and let him know you are very grateful that he was able to make contact with the Vulcans.
If you have the last name of Cochrane, start naming your kid Zefram.
Yeah, start naming him Zefram now. You have until 2063, I believe.
Yeah.
2063, I believe, is when Zefram Cochrane invents faster than light, or discovers. Is that the right word? Discovers faster than light speed.
Yeah.
Or invents it. I'm not sure. Tonight I will be at I'll be at First Coast Comedy tonight.
Awesome. I'm just about to leave to do a charity show with Wes Johnson.
Nice.
For the Knights of Columbus, and
nice.
Next Saturday, so the 12th, I will be at Veterans United Brewery with Johnny Mack.
Oh, nice. The 12th, I will be at American Legion Post 250 with Patrick Carson in Middleburg.
That's a fun show.
Yeah, I've heard some great things, so I'm looking forward to it. That'll be fun. All right, well, thank you guys. That has been today is happy Star Trek First Contact Day. See you tomorrow.
Have a good one.